Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pineapple Experience. I have Pamela Garrison here with us tonight, and I just have to read your bio word for word because it blows my mind. International Bestselling Author, motivational speaker, personal development strategist, podcast and social media personality, and CEO of BuBBles for Life.
Yes.
So welcome, and thank you so much for joining me tonight. I've already had a blast, and we've been talking on the stream before, but the stage is yours, my friend. I can't wait to hear your story.
Well, hello, Justine. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful for this opportunity just to share. I'm really just grateful. This is like my favorite part of everything I do is just to share. I honestly wrote my first book so it can open up the door, that be that catalyst for me to get in a room to talk, because talking is my favorite thing. It's like,
I'm
as
here
a
for
kid, I used to be, if they can just pay me to talk, can I just talk? Can I find a job? Just talk. And, I used to think that was, operator services. I did a lot of customer service. So my bio, part of that has it on there, 30 years of customer service background. So I've been in that call center background, talking things. But I'm so happy now because I'm in a season where I get to express myself, express my life, and help other people doing it. So I am really excited about it, and I will gladly share. Gladly share. So a few years ago, probably like 2014, I was going through, I don't even know what you want to call it, but I'm telling you, when I done told the story, I said I'm going through this year from hell, 2014, because my life was being impacted greatly. And I'll get into, I give people the highlights, because if I tell the full truth, I just don't know if everybody can handle it. But even the highlights are heavy, right? So I was going through some serious life changes, and most of these, they're designed, just one of these will, wipe some people out. But this was my life changes that were happening in 2014. I was married, so my 16 and a half year marriage was coming to an end. So I'm getting ready to go through divorce in this moment. And then as the divorce is going, I'm a little angry about that, I was a little upset woman. I'm gonna keep it real. I talk really real. So I was a little upset about that, but I got a little angry, but I got diagnosed with a colon cancer in that same year. And I am convinced that because I was so angry, cancer crept up on me. I'm convinced of that, because toxic thoughts and toxic emotions have to go somewhere. And so I believe it internalized and it grew, So during that year also, my father got sick, and he would be a stage 4 lung cancer. And I had just finished, still recovering from my situation. And before I can get back, because he was out in Louisiana, so I had to travel, come back, then my estranged husband, he would be diagnosed with a rare skin cancer. And it's going to take like 3 surgeries to put him back together. So in the process, I'm trying to get my real estate license, because that was my dream. I'm going to sell real estate. I'll get a house. And so even when the doctors were saying to me, we have to do surgery, I said, that's not on my list of things to do. That is not on the list of things to do. That is not in my plan. Return the sender. This does not belong to me. This is not mine. I literally said these things. It's like, no, this is not mine. I don't receive it. Even though they're telling me, okay, we're going to have to take you to surgery. Okay. And, and my doctor said, good luck. Good luck on your surgery. And, and I kind of got off of the things that happened, but this is the part that's on my heart. So I speak from my heart. So somebody needs to hear it. So my doctor said, good luck with your surgery. And I was like, no, luck will have nothing to do with my surgery, because he had just finished telling me his wins and his losses and how many times he did this surgery. And so I told him, and really looked him straight in the eye, and I said, well, so he was telling me, get some rest. You got surgery tomorrow. I said, no, you get some rest. You have surgery tomorrow, because I'm on your win side. So I need you on your A game. I need you at the top of your thing, because this is not mine. It was not meant for me. It was delivered to the wrong address, and we have to remove it or return the sender. So no, I said, so you go get some rest. And remember, I'm on your win side, because you just finished telling me how time you
Right.
did this. And this is how we coming out. And he's looking at me and looking at my family like, is she for real? I'm like, oh, I'm so for real right now because this is not mine. I'm not going out like this. And so with all of those things going on, I was going through identity crisis. I had to go back and figure out who I was. What's my purpose? And so that first book is Identity Crisis, Rediscover You. That's the name of my book. And I wrote the book because if I was going through it, I knew others were going through it. And the one thing I knew about myself, I will put my everything into it if I knew I was helping at least one other woman not to go through what I've been going through. So I said, so I'm going to write the book because when I start thinking about things that I like to do, really coming out of that fall, if you would have asked me those 5 years ago, so Pam, what do you like to do? I'd have been, I don't know. Because see, I did the things that kept the peace. Whatever kept the peace, that's what I like to do. It didn't matter. What I wanted to do didn't matter. And I put all those things on the back burner. But see, when I wrote that book, like one of the things I said, we teach people how to treat us. That's my fault. So looking at my actions and the things I used to do, I was like, nope, you got to make some changes because, I'm going to take responsibility for the parts that were mine. And so in that little book, I wrote a chapter, and that chapter said, I blow bubbles. And everything I wrote, people started going, so what you talking about with those bubbles? What you talking about? I was getting all deep and go back into your childhood and trying to be all profound with it. And you go back over what you did and how you got to this point. And the question out of the whole book was, so what tell me about those bubbles. So
Go figure, right?
so that shocked me. I was like, really? I said, well, okay. So I started telling people because not only will I tell you what I've been through, then I'm going to tell you some steps of things I do to come out, to overcome. And that was one of the things I said, I blow bubbles. And it was like, what kind of bubbles are you talking about? What are you saying? And I was like, well, bubbles, regular bubbles. so And so then it became a story within the story because how did I get to the bubbles? So here's how that happened. I said, I blow bubbles. I went through all these things in life in that year. I knew I was angry, and especially after going through the whole cancer thing. And I said, you know what? It's not even worth it. He's not worth it. None of this stuff is worth it. It's not worth my life. And I made this statement, I'm not going out like that. So how do I get this anger off of me? So I was reminded of a time when I was having this family get together. And I've always been a busy woman in my past. And so the people are coming to my house. The family is coming over. You got to get this right. You got to get that right. You got to do all these things and it got to be perfect. And you send the spouse to the store to get the things you need. And he comes home without the barbecue sauce. It's a barbecue. So that's one of those, couple arguments like, really? Seriously, dude? For real? How out of all the things on the list, that's what you forget, and we having a barbecue. So I was a little angry.
Yeah, rightfully so.
So in that process, I got my daughter comes over and the other kids, because every barbecue I put together is always bubbles for the children, the pool, the water slide, whatever. We're going to have the fun stuff for the kids. So they come over. My daughter says, Mom, blow bubbles. And I'm like, I don't want to blow no bubbles. But you got to make the kids happy. So right now, I got kids surrounding me, at least 4 of them around me, and they're waiting on the bubbles. And so they give me the bubbles. Mom, blow bubbles, because they couldn't open it. So I get the bubbles. And I take the little stick out because I'm feeling like it's another chore, something else I got to do. So let me get to these bubbles. And I take this little stick out and I go to blow. And nothing was coming out of this little ring. And I said, I mean, really deep. I'm telling you, I was deep. I was like, I have never seen a defective bottle of bubbles. Something is wrong with these bubbles. This is a true story. I kid you not. I was like, the bubbles are defective. Like I don't have barbecue sauce and the bubbles are defective. Something
Right.
is going wrong here. So in that moment, this was my pivotal moment. I realized that little voice in my head went off and said, "Oh, it's not the bubbles. It's you." I
Mhm.
say, "What?" It's like, "You sure, Jesus? Hold up."
Yeah.
He said, "It's not the bubbles. It's not the stick. It's you." And so in that moment, I realized you can't blow bubbles angry. You have to stop. Take that deep breath. You got to really calm it all the way down and slowly breathe so you can get to your bubbles of life. so and so then the message spread. It became a movement because it's not just blowing the bubbles, even though you can't blow bubbles angry, but also the double meaning on it, the double entendre on it. You can't get to your bubbles of life, your joy, your peace, your happiness until you stop. I don't care what it is. Pause. Take a deep breath. Because anxiety, stress, frustration, you're not getting there. You're
Yes.
not getting there. So the movement became you can't blow bubbles angry. So I have traveled to some places like Harvard. Yay. I'm so happy.
Oh,
I've been to Harvard talking the same story. You can't blow bubbles angry. I got to present at Teachable in New York on that platform. I've been to New Orleans for like books and brunch, just different things. When I first released my book, I was out on a platinum book tour. So we covered all these different cities and different places. And with my little bottle of bubbles in hand, book in hand, and I'm just telling the world, you can't blow bubbles angry. And people just stop and go, wait, let me think about that. See, because it's simple, but it's so profound. And so then I put out a challenge. It's a bubble challenge, and that's my standing challenge. You can't blow bubbles angry. So if you can, prove me wrong. Because if you're angry when you start, you won't be angry when you're done. So either way it go, I win.
right. Yeah.
Because you can start off, well, I'm mad and I'm going to blow these bubbles. And then you have your people who go, I'm not blowing no damn bubbles. No, I don't need to. That's child's play. Exactly. And
Yep.
you need to get childlike so you can see yourself. You're too serious right now, or you're too mad, you're too angry. And the one thing that I know, and the one thing that I teach, we definitely cannot make informed, good decisions from a place of anger, from a place of frustration. So, how many times you done heard you're mad right now? You don't want to make a decision about that. You're upset right now. We know that doesn't work. So, but how do I get to a place quickly? You can just simply pick up a bottle of bubbles and just start blowing because it's going to change your dynamics. It's going to change your atmosphere. And then it's just going to change everything around you because suddenly your breathing is going to change if you want to get the bubbles out of the ring. I'm here to tell you it's not defective.
Oh, I love that. I love that. When when I've read that, I'm thinking, no, I've never blown bubbles and ended up angry, but I
Yeah.
love the deeper meaning of it.
Yeah, it's
So,
really deep. And then I just, like I said, that's the whole concept, is to get people to look at it differently.
yeah.
And even as you apply it, because I've had several people try it, I was recently reminded of one of my friends, her mother, elderly mother, she was taking care of her mom, and her mom was in dementia stages, right? So in and out, but she was taking care of her mom. But she bought bubbles. And she wrote me a testimonial, sent me videos. She said, Pam, my mom hadn't smiled in days. She said, I pulled out the bubbles and just started blowing. And she was like, ooh. And she just got so excited. She was like, just do it again. She wanted to do it again. And then she wanted to try it. They hadn't seen that much movement out of her. And I was like, bubble. And so she thanked me. She said, I thank you because I would have never thought about bringing in bubbles. I've had one who was a music teacher, and she said, you know what? I'm always trying to get the kids to go, do their voice exercising and their breathing to do their singing from the diaphragm. She said, I never thought about the bubbles. And so she brought the bubbles into the music class. And she was like, even herself, she was getting ready to do a performance. She said, I always get nervous. People don't know how nervous I am before I perform. She said, so this time I set up, had all my instruments ready, and I told my audience, hold on just a moment. And she pulled out her bubbles and she started blowing some bubbles. And she said, okay, I'm ready now. She said, I had the best performance of my life. So I just love getting the testimonials and for people sharing, people at work and they're like, okay, the boss is working my nerves. I took a bubble break, I'm at my desk and I'm blowing some bubbles. So it's just been amazing. The movement is amazing.
Absolutely. And everyone's story is different because obviously we're all different, but the perspective shift, and the uniqueness of each individual and how they apply it to themselves.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So it's amazing. And I'm so glad, like I said, to be in this flow of things because I'm living my best life right now. I'm living my dreams and I know it's only going to get better. But this has always been something that I have desired to do, to spread a message, to help shift minds of people. And so I created Bubbles for Life. So Bubbles for Life Academy, I didn't put the academy on it, but basically it's the place where I house little mini courses or just different deep little revelation things that I may do. For instance, I am an author, so sometimes I may do a course on how to market your book, how to market your book for a whole year. And so that's like one of the things in my academy. So, that's something you can go in there, purchase if you like, and look at it. But how do you market your book? So because I had this awesome time when I did my first book, it's like, oh, well, let me tell you, let me tell you, I've been to Harvard, I've been to New York. Let me tell you how you keep that book in front of, everything you do and keep it relevant today, because it's still one thing about books don't get old. It's always new to somebody. Somebody is new to somebody. You might get tired, but it's new to somebody. Everybody in the whole world has not read what you wrote. And so getting those things and that understanding. So if you're an author and you feel like, okay, but I wrote that book 5 years ago. Well, I'm the one that urged you to go take it off the shelf because there are some passages in there that people need to hear. And, so there's a message in there that you need to deliver. And so I talk about things like that. And so that's how it became Bubbles for Life, because I'm multi-dimensional. God has made me multifaceted. And I was like, okay, I'm talking about bubbles and you can't blow bubbles angry, but there's so much more in me. So it's like, how do I express all of this stuff? Yeah. So what I love about Bubbles for Life. So just like you see in the background, all the little bubbles, the clusters of bubbles, I have a bubble for a lot of things. So I have bubbles I can put. If your issue is pain, I got a bubble for that. If your issue is writing, I got a bubble for that. If your issue is, okay, maybe I need bubbles for health. I need to do some health work and those type of things. How do I take care of my body better? Exercise. I have a bubble for that. So right now, what has happened in my Bubbles for Life presents, I was having a conversation with a group of ladies and I just said something about being sexy and I said something about God. And then the conversation became, wait, hold up. I don't hear many Christian women say God and sexy in the same sentence. Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So I started to explain God created sexy. And as I gave the explanation that how we're fearfully and wonderfully made, and we're uniquely made by our creator, so sexy came from God. And so when I started breaking it down, the ladies in the group was like, so when you're doing that class, I said, oh, I'm in the wrong bubble. I was like, oh, I'm in the wrong bubble right now. Oh, that's the class we want. so so I had to go in my bubbles, and God created sexting. And when you do this class, it's a woman's class. This is all females on this one. So when you come in the door, I invite women in, and when they come in, they go into the sexy zone. And so that's the day, like, you go where? I say, oh, you're going into the sexy zone. And then I tell you, whatever happens in the sexy zone stays in the sexy zone. When I started it in August, I used to record, but then it got to be such an intimate space. I said, no, this is an experience. But one of the things I do, and I can share that, and I find that a lot of women are uncomfortable with this simple thing, but we're going to do it today. So I ask you to find a sexy, descriptive word that starts with the first letter of your name. And then I ask women to introduce themselves. Because here's the thing. Before you enter into the sexy zone, you cannot bring your titles. We know you as the CEO. We know you as the strong businesswoman. We know you as mom, auntie, sister, all these titles we carry as women. And I tell them, leave your titles at the door, because the sexy zone is for the woman that God has called you to be. And in the midst of all of your building, what did you do with that woman? So in this circle, in this atmosphere, you come in, and I start off, because my name starts with a P, and I say, I am pleasant, pleasurable, Pamela, and I'm sexy and I know it. And that's how that exercise go. And so we go around the room, Justine. So you ready? You've been thinking? Introduce yourself.
My palms are sweating, Pamela.
And that's what normally.
But I am jolly and joyful, Justine.
Yeah.
I am sexy and I know it.
There she is. She's free. And we do, and you'll be amazed that some of the, like you say, palms are sweating. People are like, oh my God, they start fanning. and it shouldn't be that we're uncomfortable saying that, but we are, because we don't exercise it. Because we're so busy working in a masculine energy, because that's what, when you're trying to get the dollars and all this stuff, and you're working and working and working. So the woman in you is crying like, please let me out. Can I come out and play? And so we're in a sexy bubble.
And I can feel it. I got goosebumps.
Yeah. So we,
like, when I experience like real joy, like when I'm in my element, I'm in flow. There's like so I love that.
Yeah. And that's where you want to be, in your real element, in that real joy. Because nobody don't want, life is too short to be faking. we ain't got time for that. We're going to keep it real. So we keep it real. And so that's what Bubbles for Life is about. Is, as a personal development strategist, I am just I use my wheelhouse of wisdom. That's my words. I use my wheelhouse of wisdom to build bubbles for life by dismantling old thoughts and then preparing you to come out as a confident person. So basically, we're just switching some things out, and we use simple things, but it's profound and it works, And it works. You blow bubbles, your mind has shifted. The other thing I've told people about these bubbles is a simple thing, but it's something that most people don't think about. I'm after your transformation. So when you look at this bottle of bubbles, or any bottle of bubbles that you buy, it comes in liquid form. It is liquid in this bottle. When you take this top out and put a little bit of that solution and breathe on it, blow your breath of life into it, it changes shapes. It changes forms. Transformation. Just by breathing on it, paying attention to it. And it's a whole different product. And I was like, and I share that, and they're like, wait, hold up, wait, what? Yeah, it doesn't stay liquid.
Right.
It transforms into the bubble. And I do things like, I call it a bubble release. So if you are full of toxic emotions and you're mad and you're just trying to, things are frustrating you, I ask you to think about those things. Bring all of that to the forefront of your thinking. Whoever just got on your last nerves, whatever it was, you got mad at work, you stumped your toe, I don't know. But bring all of that stuff up. Pick up a bottle of bubbles. And then I want you, when you blow it out, when you take that deep breath and you blow it out and you see the bubbles floating in the air, imagine this, all the toxicity coming out. You can name each bubble. You know, if it was stump your toe bubble, if it was you made me mad, boss bubble, or whatever, and you watching it all float away from you. Or you can do like the kids and just pop it, you know.
Yeah.
Either way it go, it's up and out. It's up and out. And I had the pleasure of doing a bubble release at a women's group, breast cancer survivors. And they had just went, well, some were new and some were survivors, and they were supporting each other. So, you know, that was a heavy atmosphere. But I was invited in because somebody heard about the bubbles, and they said, I got the perfect person, and she does these things with these bubbles. And so we did a bubble release. We took the class outside. Everybody had a bottle of bubbles, and I took them through that whole process of the toxic thoughts, the toxic emotions, the things you've been feeling. You mad because you got this diagnosis. When you go through these things, you have so many different emotions happening. But if you can just get that up and out so that you have room for your healing, you know, because those are things that are preventing your healing. There may be a delay because you're so focused on the bad side and the negative stuff that's happening. And if you were mad like I was, because I know I was angry because the marriage was falling. I was, what is all this stuff? I did the right stuff in my own head. I did this and I did all this, should not be happening to me, but yet it was. And so, but knowing that if you don't get your mind right, it can kill me. Oh no, I was like, I'm not going out like that. So what can we do to release it? And it was so simple. Pick up these bubbles. And so I told this to this group of ladies, and they went outside and they blew bubbles. And like I said, I love the reports. This one lady said, she said, I'm going home with my bubbles and me and my dog, and we're going to just blow bubbles on the patio and laugh, because it was such a blessing to see people laugh and play like they again were 5 or 6, you know, and they was just looking at the bubbles. And to have so many bubbles in the air at one time from all these different people blowing it in the sunshine, you know, it makes the rainbow and they make it look all beautiful. It was a beautiful, holistic moment, and it brought such healing to the souls of these women. And those are the things that it helps me keep moving forward.
Yeah.
You know, because there are times when I go, Pam, what are you doing? And then I'll get a message, Pam, I blew bubbles today and something happened. I was like, oh, okay.
That's why. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking of so many people that I'm going to tag
Yeah.
after this, because it's such a struggle to let
Yeah.
go, or to surrender, or to allow yourself to like trust.
Right.
And I love that. I love your message. It's
Thank you.
wow.
And then even in this pandemic,
Yes. Yes.
so many people have cabin fever, and so many people, and I've told a few, where are your bubbles? I just recently had a conversation, and I put my Christmas tree up, you know, the Christmas tree lights. And I said, I am so going to blow bubbles in front of the Christmas tree because I want to see what colors the bubbles turn in front of the tree. I say, see, to me, that's a happy place. It's like I got Christmas lights and I'm going to have bubbles floating in the air. I say, I don't know how I'm going to record it, but I'm going to blow bubbles in front of this Christmas tree. It's going to happen because that's a happy space for me. And it's like, wow. And I said, so different little things just to relieve some of the cabin fever, the stress, blow bubbles in the home. And it's not just, you know, I use these, But in my second book, Bubble Solutions, I had to tell people because I realized I was telling that story. And I said, you didn't write the book about the bubbles because that came from the first story, that one little paragraph. So I wrote the second book, Bubble Solutions, so I can share the story about the bubbles and how they came to be and all the things I told to the doctor. So that's in that second book. And I was like, oh, I guess I need to write that, huh? And so I did. But Bubble Solutions is all about, we already have answers. Answers are inside of us. We just got, and most of us know the answers. We're just not brave enough to follow them, or we're looking for somebody to give us approval to go into them. But it's not that we don't know. We just hope that we're wrong. So, so Bubble Solutions deals with that truth. It's like you already have the solution. And so whatever your bubble is, and that's how I put it, because whatever the bubble is, you already have the solution. You don't have to go and create the mixture, or your mixture is your healing. But whatever bubble you're dealing with now, you already have the solution. So all you have to do is take a deep breath and slowly breathe and blow it out. That's all, because the solution is there and all you have to do is walk in it. So Bubble Solutions give more things because like I said, I'm all things bubbles. So one of my favorite relaxing things is the bubble bath. Woo, yes. Yes, love that. And don't let it have some jacuzzi jets or things like that, so all things bubbles. And like I said, coming when the world opens up again. We may have to do it virtual first. I don't know. But it's a bubble retreat that I have been talking about since I've been doing bubbles, and it's all things bubbles. I said, this is where women will come together and we're going to do bubble release. We're going to have bubble lead. We're going to have all things bubbles, and it will be a bubble retreat, that place to relax, that place to come back to your center so you can make some informed decisions. But it's a time of pampering, getting to know you again, and just releasing all of that negativity, letting it go. And I want to do a whole weekend of it. Bubble retreat. And yeah, you see that? It's like, whoo, bubbly. We got our things bubbles.
Oh my.
And we're going to blow bubbles to music and, just different things. It's just a bubble fun time. Because before COVID, I had scheduled Bubble Talk Live. I normally do a live talk on Facebook. I started off as Bubble Therapy. I recently changed the group to Bubble Talk Live because I would go live every week, and whatever the bubble was, whatever was in chat, what are we talking about today? I just pick a topic. And so my dream was to do it in a theater in front of people. So I had reserved this theater, small theater. It's seat like 25, but it had the theater suite seats and it had the big screen. And I was going to do Bubble Talk Live in front of people, and just all, and it was all set up. And then everything shut down. The world shut down, right? And I have been back and forward about, am I going to do it as virtual? And then I keep saying, I really want to see that live. It's nothing like having all those bubbles in the same room. Bubbles in the room. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But in the meantime, I do Facebook Lives, Bubble Talk Live, and I, have conversations. And before I start, I blow bubbles to make sure I'm right for the night, is what I say. I said, let me make sure I'm right for the night, because if I can't blow bubbles out of this little tube, Pamela needs her own product. And I tell people, when COVID first happened, I say, I am using my own product. I am not just talking, people. I am blowing bubbles over here. Yes, I am. So I'm blowing bubbles. So, yes. Yeah, right for the night. Hi, Gina.
Yes. I definitely. Will you? I have all your websites here, right? On your bio?
I believe you do. Yeah, on the bio.
Because I want to. I want people to be able to find you, because I know that people watching this are going, it's so simple. It's so simple. And I already have an idea. I'm going to send you a video.
Okay.
Right from Minnesota. I'm going to show you how bubble blowing in Minnesota goes.
Oh, is it doing the snow? Oh, I'm so curious.
You have to wait and see. But
I'll be
I
like,
can't wait.
yes, show me what?
Yes, yes. So that'll be coming. I'm going to do that for sure.
Yeah. And yep, Jenna, she talked about that earlier. She said we need a
Yes,
bubble emoji. And,
do.
and I was so on Google when you said that. I was like, how to create bubble emoji? How do you create your own emoji? So
Yes.
yeah, so we can do a bubble emoji. I normally do the gifts. If you go to gift, there's all kind Elmo blowing bubbles. They're under the sea. It's all kind of bubbles, and you just go and you find
Oh,
them. Or I'm gonna have to start making my own. So because I'm always playing with the bubbles. So
yes.
yeah, we do need that. But bubbles for life, and like I said, it covers different areas of your life. Whatever that bubble is, you can always start with just blowing bubbles so that you're clear. So now let me go tackle this big thing, because now I'm in a better state of mind. Now my mindset is better, and if I just need to laugh, let me go blow some bubbles. You want to change the atmosphere or bring bubbles to the party?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you are incredible. I love divine timing. I love divine connections. It's like people come into my world at the perfect time.
Yes.
And I'm just so grateful that you took time out of your night and your busy schedule to come talk with all of us. And uh, I will include all of your websites, but if I
Okay.
miss any, will
Mhm.
you drop them?
I sure will.
Okay.
I sure will.
All right. And then people, I'm also going to drop your books and
Yes.
order my own, because I'm all about the
Right now,
bubbles now. You've
yeah.
got me hooked.
Okay, yay. And you know what? And that's my purpose. If I
Yeah.
can, when I speak and I talk about the bubbles, one of the biggest statements that I get is, I will never look at bubbles the same again. And when I hear those words, I said, my work is done. See, because that is a mindset shift.
It is.
And I get a lot of, and now when I see bubbles, I'm always thinking about you, Pam. And I was like, thank you.
You're not the best.
And some people, they don't remember my name, but that bubble lady, the lady with the bubbles.
I love it.
Nothing else.
I love
But
it. Well, I'll
we
have
are,
to have you back on
yes,
again in
ma'am.
the
Oh, I
future.
would love to. Love
Yes.
to. Absolutely.
All right.
We'll
Well,
match calendars and we'll definitely make it happen,
I
and
would love it
and
because I
we'll update some more.
yes,
So
yes,
bubbles for life.
especially if that retreat happens. I want you back because I am here for that too. Oh,
I think women are gonna be running for that. Like, what? I'm gonna be like, you sure you want to do a bubble retreat? We just got off a lockup. No, I think people will definitely
oh,
be like, yeah, no, we
yeah.
need that. We need that. We
Come,
need to,
come by the gallons.
yeah.
The bubble
So,
solution.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love it.
So the whole bubble retreat, that is definitely still on my list of things to do. And so, and that's just that thing, just to relax and find your Zen moments and bubbles. And that's what I said, the bubble baths, you have to bubble lead, because I was really like, okay, no, all things bubbles. I said, we gonna blow bubbles, we gonna drink bubbles, we gonna talk bubbles.
Oh, that's all you
It's
need.
gonna be,
All you need is a bubble.
it's gonna be all bubbles.
I love it. I love it. Bubble letters, like even bubble letters are fun, you know?
Yeah, I got people who love bubble wrap. Okay, so if it's just
I do too.
right, so
Oh, I love
can you
it.
see that? You frustrated? Okay, here's this bubble wrap. Who can pop the most? You know what I mean? So a whole bubble wrap popping competition. It's all
Oh,
about bubbles. It's all bubbles, and that's why I said it's not just the blowing bubbles, but it's the bubble wrap. And here's another oldie but goodie: bubble gum. And so
yeah.
you doing bubble gum and you blowing your bubbles. So
I love
when I say bubbles, I mean all things bubbles. It
yeah.
can be mixed up a variety of different ways. I didn't realize how much I like bubbles until I started writing, and I realized that my screensaver, I've had my computer for over 7 years, and my screensaver is bubbles. It is bubbles. They're just floating around. And I said, oh, swear. I didn't even know. Because, it's like, that's kind of been there. Didn't realize I was really into bubbles like that. Bubble baths, bubble, just all of those things. So I just love it. It's relaxing to me. It's that one little mini paragraph, short read, and I was like, I blow bubbles. And that's what I said. The anointing is on the bubbles. I will follow the bubbles because that's what I'm telling out of everything I wrote, that was the question. What about those bubbles? And if I spoke somewhere and I said, well, I'm not going to talk about bubbles today, somebody would bring it up. Oh, well, you got to tell them about the bubbles.
Right.
You got to tell them about the bubbles. How you coming? Not telling nobody about the bubbles. Oh, my bad. Let me tell you about the bubbles.
Right. Yeah, because it's so simple,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
I love it.
And so the other thing you may or may not know, but I created the t-shirt. So I don't know if I have that link. I don't think I have that one on there, but my t-shirt says you can't blow bubbles angry.
Oh, I'm getting
So I
that.
do have links for that, and
Yes.
I'll send them to you. But the T-shirt, and see, that's what started the movement because I made the T-shirt also, and it's the "You Can't Blow Bubbles Angry" T-shirt, and then I also have one that's bubble therapy. So so the T-shirt, I was like, okay, who's joining the movement? And everybody just started buying T-shirts to help spread the movement. I modeled my own. I'm on Facebook, so if you're gonna follow me on Facebook, I'm just at Pamela Garrison, or my personal page, Pamela R. Garrison, but my business page, Pamela Garrison. But I'm modeling my own shirts, and but the "You Can't Blow Bubble Angry." So when I do those challenges, I give away free T-shirts sometime. Because I was like, who's next in the movement? Did you get your shirt yet? Did you get your shirt? Because you can't blow bubbles angry. So, and definitely, have them for men and women. Because see, Father's Day, I rolled out my dad, a real men blow bubbles.
Oh, funny. I love it.
Because if you're that dad and you got this newborn looking at you that's blowing them little spit bubbles, you're still gonna blow some bubbles. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. So if you want to help calm the kid, real men blow bubbles. And then I have one for the kids that say, my dad blows bubbles, so
I love it.
so you can match it up. So things like that. So I do fun stuff and design the little t-shirts. And so it makes it more fun, and it's also spreading the message. It's joining the movement. You can't blow bubbles angry. So there are t-shirts that match. Real men blow bubbles. And yeah. So
Well,
it's a lot of fun.
for my
A lot of
TikTok.
fun. Yeah, because I had some guys. What about us? What
Oh,
about us? so,
I love it.
so I was like, okay, I see you. I see you. Let's get that. So yeah. So real men blow bubbles. They're not afraid to say, I blow bubbles. So real men.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they
Well,
definitely will make you dad of the year. You come in the house with some bubbles. Huh?
heck yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, my kids and I and husband will sit out in the summer and just blow bubbles.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love it. Like, that's the one thing that I'm never like, no, I don't feel like blowing bubbles. When do you
Yeah,
never
I
not
do.
feel like blowing bubbles?
Look, absolutely. I do. I know what you're saying. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Oh, Pamela, thank you so much.
You are
This was an
welcome.
absolute time flew by, and so I'm sorry I kept you a little later than I said I would. But
It's quite all right.
all right. So
Wonderful time.
if you have any questions, reach out to Pamela. Get in her bubble, because I tell you, even being just on this live stream, I feel so filled with energy, and
Yes.
I love it. So thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you are so welcome.
And I will talk with you soon.
Yes, ma'am. I will be here.
All right.
Bye. I always tell people, be blessed, don't stress, blow bubbles.
Next t-shirt. Next t-shirt. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Bye-bye. What's happening? Can we talk about something real quick before you go on with your evening as planned? It's time to stop chasing. It's time to stop chasing the followers. It's time to stop chasing the big number. It's time to stop just chasing all of it. How about we embrace or chase you? What would it feel like to chase what you want to achieve in a way that feels good to you? What if we instead chased the impact that we want to make? What if instead we chased the message, the power of our story, all of those things, instead of things from outside that really don't define who we are one bit? You were put here for a reason. You were put here for a reason, and you have a way that is like no one else to deliver that purpose and that story, that thing that makes you you. That's what we want to chase. That's what keeps you motivated. That's when you find time to do the things that you want to do, and you see the results because of it. So if you have questions or would like more information on how to work with me so that you can tap into your thing, please reach out to me. I am here for you. I appreciate you, and I cannot wait to see you on the next episode of